everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Gonzii and today we are going to be reacting to another casual geographic video, this time called Animal Facts That I Got Wrong. So without further ado, bro, let's go, man. Let's react to this. Let's get it.
Even the babies are one of the most
Classic
dangerous
clip,
animals
bro.
in the world.
Classic.
So I built this cage to keep them secure, so there's no possible. Oh my god!
Hi! Oh, you're a big boy. How you're so cute. What's your name? What's your name? Right there. Oh, hi, Vino Moose. Oh, hi, Vino Moose.
No, bro, stop trolling. Not Venomoose, bro. That's a good name, actually.
I have made a severe and continuous
lapse in judgment.
I'm just playing. I'm playing. But can you imagine? Nah, but this is gonna be an accountability video, and honestly, it's all because of one comment I got on TikTok. Basically, someone commented on one of my videos disagreeing with me, and someone replied to that comment with something like, "Yeah, okay, I think I'm gonna believe the guy with 16 million followers."
Don't work like that.
Yeah, that didn't.
It
sit
don't
right
work like that, bro.
Just because I have more followers than sheep in Scotland doesn't mean my word's law.
That's
Things
facts.
happen. That's why keyboards have backspace and DoorDash has birth control.
Can
So that's what this video is. Animal facts that I've gotten wrong, or at the very least didn't get 100%. And starting off is a fact that I don't really even know how I believed in the first place. I've already corrected this, but if you've been following me long enough, you've definitely heard me say that lions have a bite force of 650 pounds per square inch, almost half as strong as their brolic biracial tangerine colored cousins. Except more recent studies puts the lion's jaw work at closer to 1,000 pounds. So what did an African do for us to rely on them so bad? Apparently it all goes back to a 2005 video from National Geographic where they tested a lion's bite force. Except they got it from a subadult male lion that couldn't have seen more than 2 or 3 trips around the sun. That's like saying the average man's 5 feet tall because you took a tape measure to a bunch of 7th graders. Also, the number they got was 691, so Mufasa knows why it got nerfed to 650. We now believe that the bane of buffalo has a bite force more in the neighborhood of 4 figures. Still just under carnivores like tigers and hyenas, but not by the landslide we originally thought. So apparently I owe lions in Africa and Detroit an apology. I was not familiar with their game. This video was recorded before the Buccaneers game, and I shall adjust my reaction accordingly. The 690 number spawned from an old show known as Dangerous Encounters with Brady Bar. And we're gonna learn that TV shows aren't the best source for the most accurate information. Who would have guessed? Especially when it's from a time where Steve Harvey had
close, bro.
Another fact I've said is that tigers are so strong that they can remain standing even after being turned into a statistic. Now, tigers are built like Greek sculptures modeled by pharaohs.
They are.
Love from Zootopia proved that. But enough to stand on business even after they're physically finished? Well, if they do, it's probably more of a reflection on their stability than just raw strength. It also could be a freak accident that got reported as a fact. There was a guy that got his will activated while reaching for something in his kitchen, and his friend legit found him that way. And there is at least one animal that does something similar. Since sloths have reverse grip, the Moss Motel of the jungle can be found hanging on a branch even after they've already been emancipated from the population. But can the cornflakes kitty?
Cornflakes kitty, bro. I hate cornflakes, you know. They have no taste, bro. They taste
my childhood believing.
The taste of the cardboard of the box, bro.
That venomous baby snakes are more dangerous than the adults. The idea here is that
that always sounded weird.
How much venom they release, or if they release venom at all. But baby snakes with less experience, they empty the whole clip every time. Now the first part is true. Snake venom is physically expensive to make, so a lot of snakes will compromise with dry bites to get the message across without spending the cost. It's like a blank shot from a gun with vibranium bullets, and the chances of getting a dry bite vary on the snake. The eastern brown snake
so they can choose not to pump any venom
80% of the time.
I think that one actually.
Chooses mercy only
I think that bro just bites me like, hey man, I'm here, man. Do that again and I'll kill you. Hey, I respect the second opportunity though.
But does that mean
it hurts, but I respect it.
Well, no. Smaller, unseasoned snakes carry less venom, and science says you're more likely to get kicked off a mortal coil if an adult bites you.
So a baby black mamba has less venom.
And finding out with an immature fallen dread of Medusa. And I know for a fact I only got that from an old show on Animal Planet, and you probably know which show that is.
I don't.
It's the same show I also got this. For a minute, it was believed Komodo dragons catch bodies by biting their prey once and then waiting for them to retire to bacterial infection.
I heard that as well my whole life, bro.
Drag you off the mortal plane, the better, since that just means less dragons to share with. Remember,
these are wild creatures, you know.
Bloodhounds that track down death faster than the Reaper. Also, they might not be fast.
Weird creators, bro.
Much faster than that. But this whole time, this Jurassic Park understudy actually kills with the helping of anticoagulants to keep you bleeding. That way, even if you escape, the homicidal steroid gecko can always hunt you down. We used to think it was blood poisoning, but apparently the bacteria in their mouths isn't really that special from any other carnivore. In fact, if you mouth swab the dragon, you'd actually find less bacteria than you would in something like a captive lion or a bipolar Looney Tune.
Wow,
After looking
really?
further, I can tell you the misunderstanding
My whole
definitely came from an
childhood was a
buffalo's
lie.
first instinct to run into water. And a buffalo taking an open flesh wound into dirty, stagnant toilet water is more of an indictment on the bush cow's hygiene than
Makes
the
sense.
lizard's. And speaking of water being your downfall, I've talked about animals that can't swim, and I once said that guinea pigs were on the list.
Oh.
Turns out I was wrong, and I can't even blame Animal Planet this time. Guinea pigs can swim, and in some cases can do it for hours. The catch is that they don't care for it very much. Most sources say guinea pigs get stressed in deep water, and while they can swim,
poor
their
things.
ancestors avoided it to
Look at
avoid
them,
being
he's
canceled by
stressed.
predators, so
Say,
nothing
bro.
about it's a good time for them.
Let's go.
In other words,
Cute.
I'm a f***ing guinea pig.
Cute.
Now this isn't something I got wrong, but I still want to explain it a little more. So I mentioned how these finches inspired Darwin's theory because, well, long story short, different finches ate different foods and so developed different size and shaped beaks.
Okay.
Now technically, that's not wrong. I feel like I made it sound like their beaks changed just because the birds needed them to. What actually happened was different finches were found on different parts of the islands, and depending on where they were, certain finches had an advantage.
okay.
That advantage could have been
So a
something like
certain type of
particular beak shape,
bird,
and
yeah,
that advantage was
had
more
a
likely to
beak
get passed down
more
often.
for like
Eventually, certain trees
fruit,
would get
the other
selected
for like
natural
bugs.
purpose,
Okay,
not
got
perfection.
it.
That's natural
Got it.
selection. And depending on the best food source, the finches most suited to feed and breed outcompeted the others. It's kind of like how giraffe necks didn't just get longer, it was more like longer necks outperformed shorter necks, and history just wasn't kind to the vertically deficient. Actually, no, latest studies say the long neck actually came from their mating preference and the fact that giraffes like to run fades using their heads.
Oh,
so
okay.
why the long neck? Apparently, FNS. To flex and sex. Apparently the only leave they were
Talk
worried
to
about
him.
is maternity. And speaking of eating, there's another animal whose meal plan I was completely wrong about. Opossums are the rat-tailed relic Australia left.
Don't like possums,
They're also
me.
free pest control.
They look,
Since packing
idiots,
possums
bro.
terminate 5,000
Get out of here,
ticks in
mate.
a season.
But start
Except
swinging
they
on you,
don't.
boy.
We, and, well,
Get out of here.
I got that wrong. The number comes from an experiment where they
Wait,
introduced
shout out to
100
my
ticks to different
waves,
animals
dude.
like mice, squirrels,
My hair started
yeah,
to curl, bro.
opossums,
Look at
and
that.
counted how many ticks had
Great
fed and
stuff.
fallen off. According to the study, the opossum cage had way less ticks than all the others. So the assumption was that any tick that wasn't found at the bottom of the cage had likely been eaten. So they took the number of ticks left in the
Basic,
cage, along with the
but-
population of ticks found in wild opossums to come to the
You know,
conclusion
you can see why they made that
opossums must put
mistake.
away 5,000 ticks a season, at least. Yeah, not the most solid logic, and later studies examining their stomachs and feces found that the shit literally didn't add up. Not only does Coma Kitty not pass 10 ticks by the thousands, ticks aren't even a preferred part of their diet. There are a lot of weird things about this faint weasel, like how their body temperature is
No,
so low
faint
that
weasel,
rabies
bro.
gets possums more than possums get rabies, or that their nipples straight up look like a devil worshipping cult with 12 milk
Fucking hell,
faucets
bro.
circling.
Nah, I'm saying,
whole thing
they're
about them being
disgusting.
tick vacuums,
Bro,
that
get out of here
falls
before I
on its
swing
face.
on these
You
ass,
wanna know
bro.
what doesn't fall on its face? Cats.
Get outta here.
They always land on their feet and can survive free falling
They do.
from a building.
I
so
hate
much that
possums,
cats have
man.
about a 95%
They look
chance
disgusting.
of falling from 10 stories and not flatlining on impact. At least that's what I said. But in the original study from 1987, out of the 132 cats that went to the vet after touching pavement from a window, 90% survived. Wait, 90% of the cats that went to the vet. Someone in the comments pointed out that this was a case of survivorship bias. Said,
Oh,
fair.
makes sense,
You
because
wouldn't
if
take
your
a
cat is
to the
dead,
vet. And out of the
why are
90%
you
that
taking
didn't
it to the
sleep,
vet?
how much chalk
That makes
outline,
sense.
90% of them had some form of thoracic trauma.
Damn.
37% needed emergency surgery to renew their life subscription.
Oh, those 90.
30% needed non-emergency
Damn.
treatment. And only a third tanked an accelerated sidewalk smack
Yeet.
and walked away needing nothing. Also, 17 years later in 2004, another study showed that flights from the 7th floor and up actually caused worse
Yeet.
injuries than lower drops, which cancels out the other thing I said about shorter drops doing more damage. So I think the real answer
That
here is
to me
unless you're
was
Shane
weird
Dawson,
when he
treat
said
your
it.
cats the same way you treat your kids, and don't let
shorter
either go out the
distance,
window.
less
Now, for this next
impact.
fact, I'm gonna be honest. If it wasn't for one comment, I'd probably spend the rest of my life getting it wrong.
That's fact.
And it said
That's-
REM
that's
is
true.
the deepest stage of sleep, and that insomniacs dream about being
Bro,
reincarnated as
that
a platypus.
platypus
Nature's casserole
is
gets more
deep
REM than
sleep,
any
man.
other animal.
That's the good
I was always
sleep.
taught that your eyes twitching out like
Aw.
Kai meant deep sleep. It's actually the third stage
So
of
cute.
NREM that's the deepest. It's called N3, and it's the
Aw,
closest you'll get to
that's so
cosplaying as a
cute.
corpse while having a pulse, since it's the hardest stage to wake up from. It's also the stage where your body
Come on,
repairs
my boy.
tissues, builds bones, restores muscles, and strengthens the immune system. Basically, you know how your phone will
Bro,
update at the punch
tired.
of dawn as long as it's connected
Go
to
on,
an
man.
outlet? That's the
Get
N3
it.
stage of sleep.
Wee.
It's also when you're most likely to precipitate your sheets or traumatize your family, since that's when bedwetting and sleepwalking occurs. It only lasts about 20 to 30 minutes each stage, and if you're
Good
lucky,
sleep
you'll get
as
about
well,
an hour and a
and
half of
cute.
N3 a night. but it's N3 that's the deepest stage, not REM. But since REM is the dream stage, the platypus
Bro,
still
look at
has
that
more real
platypus,
estate
bro.
in DreamWorks than Shrek.
Just
Now, this next fact comes
dreaming
from
out
deep in
there.
my TikTok days.
Sleep
Back
deep
when I wasn't
sleep,
so afraid
bro.
of guidelines. That blue whales
Let's go.
release 400 gallons worth of baby batter with only 10% of that
Baby ballad? Nah.
and for the measurement impaired like
That's
myself,
their
400
poop.
gallons is like 10 bathtubs.
Nah, man, and you man go to
Except
the
400
ocean.
is more of a
Disgusting.
reach than a whale's piece. It's actually
Disgusting.
like 5 gallons per session. And again,
Jesus.
that's about one of these.
Fucking
Still,
hell.
most of the liquid daycare ends up getting offloaded back into the ocean. Makes
5
you wonder why
gallons
it's so
of-
salty. That's a joke,
you
by the
know.
way. It's sea foam. They're not actually playing in
foam,
pre-whale. Speaking of
Bro,
tainted water,
I
this
knew
next thing
crabs
is something
love
I
that,
got
you know.
wrong or even said, but something I showed. I saw this video of a manatee getting an assist from some guy and honestly didn't think much of it. Apparently the law doesn't agree because not only is this illegal, it's hella illegal.
Damn.
You don't want to give manatees water for the same reason you don't feed wild animals. Eventually the water blimp could lose its fear of humans
Not
and
water
end up
blimp.
getting turned into a speed bump. The Florida Manatee Act of '78 makes it illegal to do anything to a manatee, mean,
Okay.
obscene, and anything in between. And if you're offering this sign,
Bars.
you're honestly better off dead. As dead as the dog from this video. Or maybe not. So you probably remember this story I told of a polar bear petting a dog before turning it into Nemo's mom. But it wasn't actually the
Damn.
same dog that got turned into bear bait the way
Oh
I
my
said.
God.
What happened was this video went viral. So viral that the Canada CBC News got a hold of it. So much that they basically aired the guy out and said that officials had to relocate 3 polar bears from the same property a week before after one of the bears erased one of the dogs. Apparently owner Brian Ledoux had been feeding the ice bears along with his pack of Eskimo dogs. And according to him, the one night he didn't feed the Glacier Goons was the night one of the dogs went on a play date with
That
Old
makes
Yeller.
sense.
It was actually before this video, and it wasn't this dog or bear. I think the timeline's still not 100% clear. Also, the Ledoux guy passed away in 2018, so I guess we'll
Rip.
never really know for sure. And you know what? That's okay. It's okay to not know.
It is.
Science is constantly learning, unlearning,
What up?
and relearning things. As a matter of fact, a lot of the things in
No
this video
yeet.
at one point were
Yeet.
seen as
No
100%
yeet.
fact. I guess the
Yeet.
moral of the story is, it doesn't matter how many followers I get. I'm
That's
not gonna
facts.
get everything right. I'm just not afraid to
Hey,
admit when I'm wrong.
respect,
Just like
bro.
Neil deGrasse
I
Tyson
respect.
said,
One of the great challenges in this world is knowing
It's
enough
Neil, bro.
about
No,
a
it's
subject
waffle.
to think
I'm
you're
kidding.
right,
I love
but
Neil.
not enough about the subject to know you're wrong.
what is blood waffling about?
What is blood
Alright, that's
waffling
gonna do
about?
it. Drink water, hug your parents. Don't hug a manatee. Humanity
Don't
is
hug a
good
manatee,
enough.
bro.
Let's
Leave
make
them
this a good
alone.
year, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next one.
Let's go. Like bro said, just because he has 13 million followers, yeah. Shout out to him, by the way. Congratulations. He very deserved. He's amazing. Does not mean he's right all the time, nor should you take his word as gospel. That's what he's saying. He's like, hey man, I was wrong yesterday. I can be wrong today. I will be wrong tomorrow. That's life. And it's fine. As long as when you're wrong and you are corrected, you take accountability of your mistake. You're like, yeah man, next time I was wrong. I corrected it. We move on, man. So yeah, great video. One of my favorites he's ever done. Great stuff, man. And we learned as well. So yeah, man. Shout out to Geographic. Bro's amazing. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching the video, man. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. I hope you had a phenomenal weekend. My weekend was great. We had the Royal Rumble, which is a phenomenal show. We had the Chiefs winning the AFC title again, back to back. Beat Baltimore 17-10. Great show by Mahomes and Kelsey in the first half. In the second half, that defense was on point. And shout out to the Chiefs. We go again to the Super Bowl against the Niners. Man, cannot wait for February to come. But yeah, guys, thank you so much once again. I love each and every single one of you guys watching this video. But for now, don't forget how we end videos on the channel, bro. Come on, man. Keep God first as always. Drink water, go tell somebody you love them, and if you're here, you know what to do, man. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. My name is Gonzii, and see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.